I'm going to try and do this as quickly. And I thought I'd start with basics. I literally opened and this was one that popped up in our my Qigong Bible. Basic stance. Your stance is the way you stand. And you might think, well, why do you stand? Like, why do we need to know? But actually, there's 2 pages of worth knowing. And what are the benefits of standing correctly, and actually how it can help your posture, and the benefits for this. So the way you stand, how you place your feet, and how you distribute your weight is the foundation of every Qigong move. It must be steady, balanced, and rooted to the ground so that your upper body can be light and agile. Just as the base of a tree must be rooted to the earth, so that the upper trunk and branches are free to move with the wind, the 7 fundamental stance requires, in order to perform all of the Qigong exercises that there is. So this is sometimes called like the shoulder width stance, and this is sometimes called the parallel stance because the feet are parallel to each other. It is your most important stand because most movements begin and end with this stance. It can be used as a resting stance, so in between different positions, as well as an opening and closing stance. So placing your feet so they are the width of your own shoulders apart, with your feet parallel and your knees relaxed. Some people have much wider shoulders than others, and so their stance might look wider than your own. Always pay attention to your own body. This is really important. One of the things I'm always saying, listen to your body, even when I listen to yourself above anyone else, including myself. Always pay attention to your own body and your build, or you could end up with a stance that's suitable for your teacher, but not you. An automatically strong position is where your feet are directly in line with your hip joint, so that there is a vertical line or force from the hip joint down through the knees and the ankle joints. However, some people prefer a wider stance because of wider base provides more stability for the abs for women. Often after a large, also women can often have larger hips than a man, and many teachers advise using hip width or shoulder width, whichever is wider. It is common for people to put more weight on the stronger leg without being aware of it. So do your best to distribute your weight evenly, 50% of your weight on each foot. So it's worth practicing just this stance alone and feeling the difference in your posture, because you would benefit immensely in your practice once you have this down and you've got this. So your knees should be in a good alignment with your toes, which means they should be pointing in the same direction as your toes. So I'll often say, like, when we move our feet, don't go over right when you lean forward. So if you're already in the correct position, that should make that easier when you're moving in into other positions. When bending your knees, they must not project beyond your toes, because this is the weak position that could damage your knee joints. You should be able to feel each toe in contact with the ground, and the inner and outer heel edge should also be in contact with the ground. So babbling spring point, which is on the bottom of the feet, sort of, if you were to take my hand to be my foot, sort of about there really, but on the foot, what we call the Yongquan, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. The babbling spring is the first acupressure point of the kidney meridian, and that channel, the Yong, means gush, well up, surge, and Quan means a spring or fountain. The feet should not promote or roll inwards or separate, so roll outwards. The babbling spring point should be in contact with the ground at all times, positions, and also when walking. So this is how you place your feet on the ground. So babbling spring should be in contact with the ground to provide the energetic feeling of connection and rooting. Now, one of the reasons I wanted to talk about this is this month in January, and you'll get your members, you'll get your this month, rather than me just writing my notes, because I've got this wonderful tablet that I can actually write and it turns it into text. It means that I can then transfer that and upload that to your Patreon. So for my members, you'll get a written version of my notes, notes on other stuff, and notes of what I've put for the month of the energy. And one of the things for this month is grounding, really important, because we're really moving from that December energy. There's a third eye energy that's really coming through. On the 12th, we've got an amazing energy coming forth. So, and whether you're seeing this in a year or 6 months, if this is a month that's got high frequency, high vibration, it's a brilliant month for needing to ground, and I'll go into that in the energy report though. So should I go into this position of babbling brook? I'll try. Yeah, we got time. So starting position for doing babbling brook, which is basically opening up that grounding point at the bottom of your feet. And you can also massage this with reflexology and acupressure points. So let's shoulders standing shoulder width apart, with the arms held loosely by your sides. Is used as your starting position for most Qigong moves. By beginning this way, you give yourself a chance to bring your attention to your own posture and connection to the ground, and also to compose your mind. So you're kind of what I call just grounding, centering, getting into the heart space. And at the same time, I would suggest when you're doing this, I visualize your star, your lightsaber, if you like, is what I call it,